here's one more thing to consider if you're going to use the power on this wall in case the TGIs went up this way. Remember I was saying you take that out and drill a hole up through there with your flexi bit, get it up there, and on the back side I was saying you could cut a hole close to the wall, you could patch it, you could put a plate up there or something like that. But see, in this case, just about beyond where that electrical outlet is there, see, right there, there's a smoke alarm. You can take the smoke alarm out, take the cut-in box out, and maybe you have enough room as that wire goes up the wall on the other side. You can fish the fish tape down. Maybe you can reach from there to grab it and to tie a wire on it and use that to fish it through to get your power down to there, have your wire there to then be able to fish it all the way over there if your joists are going that way. Also, if you have some can lights, you got can lights here, okay? If that's fairly close to where you're working, can you take a can light out? Yes, you can take a can light out. It's kind of tricky to do, but I believe you can take the light bulb out, you can take the trim, you take the trim out, and then the whole can that goes up in there, there's some little screws on there or something. You should be able to get it out, and you should be able to slide that can out of there to have just have a hole there up in your ceiling, and you might be able to fish a wire that way without having to cut a hole in the ceiling. Okay, all you got to do, think about your project. Main thing I'm trying to get you to do is think about all of these different scenarios before you have to think about cutting out drywall on the ceiling or walls, because then you've got another big, huge portion of your project to do, and your patching may not come out exactly how you like. Plus, maybe you don't have any matching paint for the ceiling. Maybe your paint for the wall, you moved into a house and they don't have any paint, and now you've got to figure out how to match the paint. Or you've got an old paint can and it's 5 or 6 years old, and you put some paint on the wall and it doesn't match your wall. Now you've got all these different scenarios just for you to install the ceiling fan? Yes, all of those things come into play. So let's take those out and see if there's one way or another to get the power up to your ceiling fan. Now here, I just had another epiphany on how you could get the power up there if you have to come from here. As you come up and you drill a hole up through the ceiling cavity, okay, up through the top plates and all that kind of stuff. Remember I was saying, if you have an electrical smoke alarm and it's hardwired, you could take that all out, you could take the plastic box out, and then you could fish over to where the wire is and then fish it, boom, right through the same bay. Make sure that the ceiling fan is installed in the same bay as this if your joists are going this way, like I was saying. And I was saying, okay, then I gave you an alternative. Well, maybe you have a smoke alarm out here in your hallway, because you're always supposed to have a smoke alarm outside your bedrooms in a hallway like this. And maybe you have a battery operated one. So I was saying, okay, if you have that, you may have to cut a hole over here, put an inspection cover over it, put a round cover over it, paint it the same color as the ceiling, or tape it, top it, skim it, texture it, just a little patch up next to the wall, and you're probably not going to see it. But I just had a brain flash that if you have a smoke alarm and it's battery operated, maybe it's a battery operated in this hallway somewhere, maybe it's right here, maybe it's over here, maybe it's over here. It doesn't matter where it's at, it's just battery operated. You have some plastic anchors pushed up into the ceiling, okay, and then your smoke alarm is attached to that, right? So what if wherever you decide you're going to have this the ceiling fan, you figure out which bay that is, and you make sure that the ceiling smoke alarm is within that bay. Okay, let's say the smoke alarm is over here. Well, you can take the smoke alarm out because it's battery operated. Worst case scenario, you got two little holes that you got to patch, that you have to caulk, and you're not going to see that because you're going to relocate that smoke alarm over to the bay where you know the ceiling fan is going to be. Okay, hear me out here. And then instead of reinstalling the smoke alarm just to the sheetrock, you cut a hole out in that same bay, a round hole or a rectangular one, whichever one you want, that you can attach a smoke alarm to. You can attach a smoke alarm to an electrical outlet junction box that's the same size as a switch, okay? Or if it's a round one like you saw how I did there, okay, you'd have to cut out and put a round cut-in box. I'd rather just put a rectangular cut-in box wherever it is, okay? Cut out a hole, okay? Even though you don't need it for your smoke alarm because the smoke alarm is battery operated, right? But you've got that hole now so that when you fish up the wall, when you fish up, you can tell I'm getting excited about this because I just figured out how not to have a hole in your ceiling in the hallway. You've already got this, and your power's coming up the wall now. It's going up in the ceiling cavity. Now you've got a hole over here that you can reach over to there in the ceiling to get the wire, fish your steel tape down, take the steel tape up through there, or attach your wire from this hole here over to your steel tape or over to your flexi bed so you can pull it back down over there, get it through this hole. Now you've got enough wire left that you can then fish your flexi bed from this hole that you've cut, boom, all the way over to your ceiling fan location. Okay, now when you reattach when you get all done, then you can reattach your battery operated smoke detector alarm right to that cut-in box that you're going to put in there, the round cut-in box that you're going to put in, the rectangular cut-in box that you're going to put in. Then you don't have to cut a hole over here and patch. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so there's another idea for you to install that ceiling fan power. Oh yeah. Now doesn't that look nice? Doesn't it look like it's always meant to be up there? It's been up there since day one of this house that's 20 years old. But no, there was nothing up there. You installed it yourself. There's no patches going on anywhere. The ceiling looks fine. There's no marks up on the ceiling. The floor is clean. There's nothing wrong with the bed. There's no patches on the wall over there. Can you believe all of this stuff that you just learned? That's pretty amazing. I kind of shock myself sometimes because, like I say, I'm just an average Joe, but I know a little bit about a lot of different things. And what I have that I know, I like to teach other people how to do it too, how to save money around the house. That's what my videos are all about. It gives me satisfaction to be able to do something on my own and stand back and look, wow, that's pretty cool. I did it myself. I didn't make a mess. Everything turned out right. The handheld remote works. It was meant to be. And you can do the same thing. I want to give you the confidence in knowing just because you're an average Joe and you don't know how to install a ceiling fan, you've never installed a ceiling fan before, you watch this entire video series and I think you just might be able to do it yourself. That's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. Well, I can cross that one off my list.